You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom.
AKA worthlessly lazy but so game crazy.
This is episode 83, and I am Church of the Game Grinder, and as always joined by my excellent co-host, Jason of Corpse Led Gaming.
Hello.
And this is...
And how are you?
I'm great, because this is our 4-year anniversary of the podcast. Wow, 4 years. That's pretty wild.
Hells yeah.
Kinda
I've been on for at least half of the ride.
Yeah, it's
Boom.
right about there.
Huh?
Pretty crazy.
Yikes.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
You've been talking to this long and we ain't out of stuff to talk about yet?
Always want to talk about video games.
We always do.
Kind
And not only is this a 4th anniversary, is also a Halloween episode, but it's also a tribute episode.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate?
Yes. So last episode, you might have heard a wonderful song that I featured a couple clips from. I didn't play the whole song, but it was called Video Games by a band, Blackout, which I don't know what else they made. Was like, you know what? I love the song. Is funny. You know, it's very, it's made by
To our hearts.
a bunch of kids, and it's, yeah, exactly as you said. It's true to our hearts. Says it as it is. Want to play video games every night and every day.
That's all I want to do is play video games.
Sounds like some of our listeners enjoyed the song as well. And I was kind of curious about the band, so I was trying to do a little bit of research to maybe look up some other music or where they're at today. And I found some unfortunate and sad news. So the kid in the video, featured in the video, the singer of Blackout, his name was Hunter B. Watson, and apparently in June 20th of 2016, he was 20 years old, so I believe it's like 7 or 8 years later. He was a sophomore at Syracuse University, and he's from McLean, Virginia. But apparently he unfortunately passed in a car crash, of all things. So,
Goddamn. So,
wanted to give him a shout out. I haven't been super familiar with the song for very long, but it's given me a lot of joy
yes.
and great
Everyone.
memories.
So, this one's for you, bud. We all just want to play video games.
Every night.
Even the house is scary. So, let's
Yeah.
stay home and play video games in solidarity.
Yeah, for sure.
So, on sort of a little bit of a bummer note at the very beginning, but this is a tribute, so let's make it count. And it's spook season. Let's have a goddamn spooky ass episode this week.
Okay.
What say you?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can manage. Maybe talk about some spooky things. Maybe not. Maybe that's the spook.
It's spooky how little they talked about spooky games. Just throw in one of those every once in a while.
There's a good chance. Well, like we said, for us, it's like this kind of stuff is all year round. But I know some people, like, November 1st, like, oh, I'm done with horror everything. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Like, I'm just getting started.
They don't want to hear about it or something? I don't know.
It's but I already watched the scary movies. Is that all there is? I don't know, man. It's like the month where I get to do what I always do anyway, without Well, I don't really give a shit what anyone thinks anyway. I'm always
I was gonna say
Halloween is basically just the time of year where I take the stuff that's in my house, and some of it's outside now.
yeah.
Like giant death statues and skull busts and crazy. Well, the inflatables I don't have up in the house, but
Maybe you should.
plentiful inflatable decorations. Oh, man, if I could figure out how to get enough air into my inflatable Ecto 1, I would sleep on that sumbitch. You better believe it. But as it is now, I don't think it's got enough air.
It's got one of those shop blowers
withstand my
that they
fat
use to
bodies.
dehumidify a place. Like,
Yeah. Maybe the one for the bouncy house would work.
yeah,
Just
right?
Either that or it would just pop it as soon as my fat ass laid on the hood of the car. To be continued, I'll let you know what happens next time. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Alright, yeah. So, well, that silliness aside, how you been, my man?
Pretty
What
excellent.
Are we talking about?
The season, like we said, Halloween is kind of like, it's an all year thing. But
Yeah, but I love the spirit of the season, but the season this year is kind of sucking ass. It's like, I love fall. Fall is my favorite, but so far it's just been rainfall right into snowfall, and that's some bullshit.
we
Had, like,
lucked
3
out.
nice
We
days.
lucked out. It's just been really cold. We're sitting around freezing, getting up in the 40s. Too cold, way too cold for this time of year. We were supposed to get some snow the other night, but we didn't.
yeah.
So I guess I'm doing good. The longer we don't have snow here.
Well,
The
we were
better.
doing good. We had about it was just a little bit a couple weeks ago.
Don't worry,
And
we'll
then-
get a
and
blizzard
then
when you
tonight-
come down.
Oh yeah, it'll be the night. Well, literally today it was just like a few flakes, and then I brought my kids into where their activities are. My oldest is in gymnastics, and then the middle two are in skating. Thankfully, it's all in one building.
Mhm.
And I brought them in there, and then when their activities were done, came out, snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And I had a hearty fuck this shit that my kids might have heard.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've had a
didn't-
few
I didn't
flakes
quite
here
mutter.
too.
Yeah, like snow flew a couple weeks ago, and then it just went away. I'm hoping the same happens with this shit.
Mhm.
Ah, man, let the kids have some Halloween.
Yeah.
And let me go on my 2 trips I gotta go on, because I gotta go to Winnipeg, which is 4 hours away, and then I gotta come down to see you and hit up GalaxyCon on the 8th. And in between there is my birthday, so man, don't have me be miserable on my birthday because there's some snow flying around.
Right?
God damn it. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can we just, like, not have snow till, like, I don't know, the 12th?
That works.
And then do what you will.
Yeah.
Or, like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, maybe tonight snowfall will just be it for the year, and we could just start in early spring.
Yeah, yeah.
Winter owes us that. I figured
Anyways.
after the last few years. Anyways, enough about the weather.
Yeah,
Them
yeah.
video games.
As this season is wrapping up, I wanted to squeeze in a horror game. So, last time I was playing Code Vein, I did beat that. Do recommend. You can listen to the previous episodes for my thoughts on Code Vein. Then I wanted to jump into a horror game, but I was like, oh man, I just got Indivisible, which I had backed, and that kind of takes a little bit more precedence. It was a game I was excited for, so
Well, yeah, like we said, it's always that time, so it's not like you're going to be like, oh, it's Christmas season.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
play
yeah.
a scare game now.
So I checked out Indivisible and beat it the other night, actually. Pretty much binge played for me anyways. It's not like a 100-hour long game or anything. I think it took me like 20 hours. But
That's a good.
No, I thought it was
episode
great.
for us adults.
yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I think saying like it's like Valkyrie Profile, like outright, is, I think that's a bad example. The combat or the battle system is very much like Valkyrie Profile in some ways. Well,
So it's reminiscent in some ways, but
very, very similar to Valkyrie Profile, But
Okay.
the gameplay itself is mostly like a platformer. I wouldn't go as far as saying like truly a Metroidvania because you don't really do the whole backtracking thing necessarily. You do revisit some areas, then they're open areas, but it's mostly just like an explorative platformer with Valkyrie
Okay.
profile combat system.
It's not like you like unlock with a new
You do
item or
that.
anything?
So I don't know. Some people might say it's like a hybrid. I mean, most people are calling it a hybrid platformer RPG, but it's like it's like a hybrid platformer Metroidvania like / RPG like. I guess.
So it's a video game?
Yeah, it's a video game. My absolute favorite part about it was the art style and all the hand-drawn animation that was done, especially for the characters. So much movement,
Can't
so
beat
much
that.
personality.
I'm glad that we're at a point where we can do hand-drawn stuff and it
Hell
doesn't
yes.
look like garbage. You know, it's not like the South Park games can do that now, like where it just perfectly imitates that, and then we
Yeah.
got stuff like Cuphead and this with a hand-drawn style, and it comes out exactly the way they envision it. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where before they was just like they just changed the textures to look like a cartoon or whatever, and it just didn't really work out so well.
Yes. But
some of my
this
favorite
worked out
advancements.
great. Looked fantastic. Voice acting's great. A lot of recognizable voices. A lot of people you're familiar with. Most
I don't
likely,
know who I know's voices.
you know a lot of these. Matt Mercer and Christina V and a whole bunch of people.
I went to school with those guys. They're awesome.
Story was nothing too unique necessarily. Like the setting and everything is unique, but kind of,
The story was just kind of by the books.
in some regards. They did do some neat things, and like I said, the themes and some of those elements are pretty unique. Music was fantastic. It's by the same guy who did Secret of Mana. It's not a Secret of Mana soundtrack, but there's actually like 2 songs I heard that like, I was like that for a second, just like they hit their couple of notes and it's like, oh yeah, that's like his style or something.
Mana-y.
Yeah. Great soundtrack. So, I mean, if you can watch a trailer and you're like, hey, that looks pretty cool, I would definitely say play it, check it out. It is just like bleeding passion. Mariel Cartwright was the like lead animator. Like I said, she worked on Indivisible. She was the lead animator for Shantae Half Genie here, or Skullgirls. I mean, not Indivisible.
I think I remember before we made a Mario Kart joke about that.
Yes. So, yeah. Thumbs up, Indivisible. There's gonna be some
DBs.
like more characters added. It's kind of like, just like bonus extra characters you can get. You don't have to like pay money. I don't know if it's like if you weren't a backer, maybe it's a DLC thing. I don't know, but they're gonna add like you can get like Shantae and Shovel Knight and the Drifter from Hyper Light Drifter and like other characters, I think, as companions, but as far as I know, they're not in the game right now.
Okay.
So, maybe something sort of to look forward to.
Here's
Oh,
something.
yeah, and ton of characters. Like, man, there's probably like...
Do you have a party or do you play as like a single character?
You
can
have a
swap
party
out?
of 4,
Okay.
and you can swap characters like anytime except while you're in battle.
Peace.
So, that's cool. I mean, it gives you a lot of versatility. You can kind of pick play styles you like, or, if I just want to mash, the standard attack with all my characters, then you can, like, pick a couple characters that do, like, their strongest attack is just, like, the basic attack or whatever. It's cool.
Sweet.
It's cool. So, check it out.
I do want to check it out.
Yeah, it's
I
sweet.
don't want to check it out. I think you started talking about backing it after like I I saw a trailer on it, and I was like, oh, I wish I had.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. I've been wanting, but I figured probably wait a while. You know, busy season.
Do what you gotta do.
It's not an expensive game either. Should mention that it's not a full price game.
I think it's like $40.
Yeah, it's $40, not a $60.
And it's
game, so
yeah, it's I
Go
don't
for
know.
it.
I thought it was great. Just the, there's some games that like seem like they're made by like, a team.
people.
A lot
that-
of people. I mean, every game is made by a team of people, but this is like,
Not Undertale, you liar.
yeah, I get. Well, there was some contributions to it, but yeah, there's one guy or Axiom Verge
Yeah.
or something else. Lots of stuff. Anyways, yeah, so that's fantastic. And then sticking to I want to play a horror game. I'm like, okay, I hear Man and Medan is not a terribly long game. Let's check it out. So that's pretty much all I've gotten to do so far. I think I'm like an hour in to Man and Medan, which is,
It's a 3-hour game. How did you beat it?
taking my time.
Especially the time it took me to get ready to start the podcast tonight. You probably could have knocked her out.
You know?
Self call out. Sorry, them kids won't put themselves. I bought the
Just
wrong one. Unfortunately, I pre-ordered it, but I got the wrong one. I got Man in a Sedan. And it's just like a follow the rules game where you drive a tan-colored sedan.
I mean,
It's boring as shit.
technically I drive a sedan too. A sedan's just 4-door, but
So you're a man of sedan.
technically
Neat.
mine's like sporty.
But it's white. It's not tan. Tan
And
is the most
sporty.
boring color, and no one ever chooses tan. They just give
Actually,
you
mine's
tan.
like Arctic white or something. Has like if you look at the paint, it got like sparkles in it. Looks actually pretty
Oh,
cool.
look closer. I feel like I've
Look for my
underappreciated
sparkly
your
car.
Yeah, I've underappreciated your sparkly white car.
So yeah, Man of Medan is like the next game made by the people who did Until Dawn.
Yes.
And it's kind of in that style. Like there's times when like the characters, like it's like, wow, they do a really good job of like recreating the faces in like a digital style. Like some of them, every once in a while it's like, oh yeah, I'm playing a video game, I'm not watching a movie with like real actors. So that was kind of impressive that there was a couple moments that made me think that.
Sweet.
Not sure where things are going. It's pretty interesting so far. Not necessarily like it's not like been scary or anything.
We're men of the spook though, so we don't get.
But still, I can
Scared
still
of that
like
kind of shit.
judge and say, oh yeah, it's got some spooky moments or whatever.
Some wussies be pretty scared by this.
But it's pretty tame so far. But I think I'm probably getting right to that point where some stuff's gonna start to happen. So
Sweet.
we shall see.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to have some time to get together with the group of dudes I wanted to play with.
Yeah.
The 5-player, whatever.
Might as well.
5-player playthrough. I think that might be next week finally, because I think things are getting a little less hectic with the work. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been up to. Besides, life stuff, having generally a good time with that. So what have you been up to? You've been doing a little gaming.
Little gaming, I snuck some in. Cheated a bit.
Nice.
Got some games in when I was supposed to be not gaming. But I found a loophole. As you may know, I don't know if I've ever told you this. I love Ghostbusters.
What?
And luckily for me, my family loves Ghostbusters too. And especially my youngest son has been absolutely obsessed with Ghostbusters. That's his first thing every day when he wakes up and comes downstairs. Dad, what do you want to watch? Something while we're getting some breakfast ready or something. Ghostbusters. So it's been Ghostbusters every day. Previously with my other son, Saren, and him, we watched all the way through real Ghostbusters about 5 times. Both movies and even Extreme Ghostbusters. And even because they asked about 2 times, we even watched the 2016 Ghostbusters. But even after watching the 2016 Ghostbusters, I still love Ghostbusters. And that translates to my love of video games. So, when I finally had the chance, I picked up the Ghostbusters game, remastered, on the Xbox. And since he says, I want to watch Ghostbusters, I'll oblige you. Sure, I'll play some Ghostbusters. So I played through Ghostbusters again. And
Nice.
It was just as amazing as the first time. I've beat it several times. I have it on every console it was released on last gen. DS, PSP, PS2, 360, Wii, and Xbox. And everything. But this one I bought it on Switch and Xbox, and I'll get the PS4 one eventually too, because I am ridiculous. But it was excellent. I can't really say they improved much, though, in the remaster.
That's what I hear.
department.
I hear,
There's
it just
no
like looks a
added-
little better and fits on a big screen, but there's not. They didn't really change anything.
Yeah, some of the mouth animations are still kind of like, figured they could have, improved that tiny bit. But as for playing the actual game, just as fun as it ever was. The destruction physics are still awesome to me. Every room I walk in, I gotta shoot a boson dart, which is basically a photon torpedo with your proton pack, and it just blows shit up, and shit just explodes spectacularly into like a million pieces. And yeah, that's one of the most fun parts of the game. It's just like, oh, this is a nice museum of Civil War memorabilia.
It would be a
Yeah,
shame.
be a shame if this guy blasted the shit out of it for no reason. So, yeah. There's actually an achievement for not doing a shit ton of damage. I think there's one for playing through and doing over $3 million worth of damage. And I think I ended up at like almost $5 million worth of damage. And then there's one for getting through the game with doing less than $100,000. And I think in the last one, that was the only achievement I didn't have. So, and in this one so far, the only ones I don't have are beating it on hard again. And that one, which I don't know. One of these days, maybe I'll do it. But it's just too fun to destroy things.
Sure.
That being said, you should try it out immediately. You specifically. Also, our listeners, if you have not played this game, I wholeheartedly suggest you do. Even if you're not that big a fan of Ghostbusters, there's no excuse. It's pretty cheap on the older systems, and it's only $30 on the newer systems. So why not?
It's not bad.
It's got the original cast are all back except Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis, unfortunately, because Rick Moranis doesn't do anything anymore. Just quit.
Those are like
And Sigourney Weaver only opted out because I think they asked her first and no one else was attached to it. And then she was like, oh, I'll do it. And they're like, too late. So that's a bummer. But whatevs.
it's messed up.
Yeah. Anyway, super enjoyable. Check it out if you haven't already. Don't give me no sass back. Just do it. And after that, I played a pretty short shmup game called Caladrius. It's a game I've been meaning to try for quite a while. I missed the boat on a limited run release for the PS4, which sucks because I didn't hear about it till like 3 weeks after I think they had it up. But it was a lot of fun. Pretty unique, but unfortunately super short. I think there's only five levels, 6 if you complete the first 5 levels without having to use a continue. There's like a bunch of different fire modes. Instead of just the regular bomb and regular firing mode that changes by the amount of pickups you get, there's 3 different types of fire mode besides your bomb. I found that set it apart from most of the shmups. It's like one of those bullet hell ones, and there's one that usually each ship has some kind of thing that'll nullify some of the projectiles coming towards you, which comes in handy big time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I recommend checking it out. It was kind of pricey on the 360, which is what I played it on. But yeah, I'm glad I picked it up.
Sweet.
Maybe I don't know. I think it might even be cheaper on the PS4. So whatever way you can check it out, I recommend you do. And onto the big game I've been playing and looking forward to for quite a while. It might be the biggest game I've been excited for, I think, of this busy season, and that's The Outer Worlds. I like Fallout.
Yeah.
And I also like Mass Effect. What about you? This game's like a perfect blend of what I would say cross between Fallout and Mass Effect.
I go as far as saying I love Fallout and I love Mass Effect.
There you go. So you would love this game.
No, yeah, I'm sure. It looks awesome.
On consoles specifically, I think you would love it.
But yeah, we'll see.
You might.
I might give in, but I'm gonna wait a while.
Wait a while. Wait till it's $30 like Ghostbusters, which is easily afforded and picked up immediately. Yeah, I'm quite a few hours in now. I'm really enjoying it. The way you recruit companions reminds me a lot of Mass Effect, and the semi-open world also reminds me of Mass Effect. There's lots to explore, but I wouldn't go as far as saying it's like a Fallout amount to explore, but it's still pretty expansive planets and stuff that you go to. And the dialogue is what you'd expect, like if you were a fan of New Vegas. There's lots of different things that can affect the way. A lot more speech checks, with your lying or your persuasion or intimidation. So I'm liking it. It's a pretty perfect blend of those two, I'd say. I don't like to generalize, but that's what I would explain it as if someone had never heard of it. So I'll be playing the shit out of that for the next little while. Yeah, hopefully you get it soon too, so we can share our thoughts on it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't have any complaints about it really yet.
Yeah, I think I've only heard good things about it so far. I don't think I've seen any negative comments about it, except that it's an Epic Store exclusive for PC.
That's only for people just being crybabies and not playing on PS4.
But one thing
Xbox.
I didn't really consider, and I don't know why I keep forgetting about this, is the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, it's free on Game Pass.
It's free on Game Pass, and if I had Game Pass, I can actually play a lot of these games on my PC.
Yeah.
So that might be my workaround, maybe. But I gotta look into it.
Yeah, also if you just got an Xbox One, it would be free on there.
Yeah, right.
God.
Well, I'm definitely not getting an Xbox One anytime soon. Especially
coming together.
I'm getting a PS4 Pro in less than 2 weeks.
It's gonna be an Xbox boy with the BOI. My boy.
I still haven't played an Xbox game.
I know. I keep trying. You're like, oh no, I don't have enough batteries.
Well, I don't have any batteries. No charge. No batteries for the 360 controllers.
It's bullshit. I'll have to bring the charger. We'll get it going. It's gonna happen one of these days. We're gonna play through all the Gears games. It's gonna be righteous.
Yeah. I look forward to it. Yeah. So
before dust eats those systems alive, I feel I might have to call the ASPCA of animals.
I dust my collection on a regular basis. Thank you very much.
It's like a depression thing for consoles.
Okay.
Internal dust.
Okay. Speaking of eternal dust, should we talk about some retro games?
It's a pretty metal name for a game. They should probably get some. Yeah. So last time, you chose Haunting Ground for our retro game highlight.
Yeah. What you got for us this time?
I got Elemental Master on the Sega Genesis.
I don't know this one.
If you look at the cover, you would think it's like an RPG, but it is actually a shmup. It's got a pretty silly cover. It's like this evil looking dude with his hands. Kind of reminds me of the poster from our panel last year at MGC, where he's got his hands out, and there's this guy with a white blouse, some black leather pants, and a red cape.
Totally looks like an RPG cover, or maybe an action platformer. Yeah,
you at the very least you'd think it was a platformer, but it is in fact a shmup. And what a cool shmup it is! It's basically the guy on the cover is like flying, like basically like Superman, and he's got all the shmup powers.
Right on.
For fighting dragons and all manner of.
So it's evil. Not necessarily misleading then.
Yeah, that guy is badass.
He's
just more badass than you would expect.
Yeah.
So.
Right on.
Check it out. It is a super pricey game.
Oh.
As far as I know, though. Because it's a kick-ass shmup on the Genesis. But it's, I happened upon it for free, actually. So I'm happy to have that in the collection. But if you like shmups, I would say definitely check it out.
It is expensive. Price charting shows $172 complete, $63 loose.
Let me check.
Oh.
Got mine complete.
Yes. Interesting. Dang, dude. I'm a
hell of a game, though. Hell of a game. And we live in an age where emulation is easily possible. So if you do not feel like spending $172 on one game, I suggest playing a ROM. I don't give a shit. Yeah. I don't think Sega gives a shit anymore.
$172 game better come with a baby in a jar.
Well, you might have to sell a baby in a jar to get it, but I'd say worth it. A lot of fun. And with the Sega Genesis Mini, I haven't heard anything about it being hacked yet, but I'm sure it's
I haven't really looked in. I haven't even plugged mine in.
Are people just tired of trying and just going, I just got to buy? They're just not. They're like, or they're saving all their resources of hacking the console for when the TurboGrafx Mini comes out soon. I don't know, but anyway, throw it on your Genesis Mini, throw it on your Super Nintendo Mini. I don't give a shit. Put it on your Pi, play it on your computer, whatever. Play it on your phone.
Just play
it. Good game. A lot of fun. I was super. Like, I didn't even look at the back of the case when I went to play it the first time. And was like, ooh, I feel like I'm in the mood for something like this. Like, I didn't even look at the pictures. I just opened it up, popped it in. I was like, well, okay.
Nice.
It wasn't like I wasn't totally disappointed. I was just kind of like, I was expecting an RPG or, an adventure game or some sort. But, yeah, definitely a cool surprise.
I dig it. It. So, I guess, speaking of babies in jars, I want to give a mention to Death Stranding, which is now going to have a PC release. Summer of 2020.
It's only a few months after. That's not too bad.
It's pretty cool,
people were thinking it was going to be like a couple of years after, if it was even happening.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But why would you wait that long?
Well, if you don't have a PS4.
Yeah. You could work towards getting one before summer 2020, though, if you really want to play it. There happens to even be a system that comes with it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The age we live in, where you could get... I still want that. I want that controller still.
I got to sell the game. Because I'm getting the collector's edition and then I'm getting the pro. It comes with the game.
Is it actual physical copy of the game?
I don't know.
If it's a physical copy, you got your buyer.
Nice.
Which is perfect because I'm there the day it comes out.
Yeah, that's true.
I even get to smell the new console smell when you open it. It's a delicacy among gamers. Don't act like you don't like that new game smell.
Oh, yeah. Just firing it up for the first time.
Yeah. Pulling out that factory smell. There you go. it's like new car smell,
Yeah.
but for nerds.
Yes.
We love it. So yeah, that's it's coming up quick.
Yeah. You know what
Like-
was
like
coming
10
up
days.
quick and not coming up so much, or not coming up as quickly? I don't know what I was trying to say there.
Postponed, but
Yeah. Last of Us 2 got delayed,
what?
which, you know, it's a bummer. They just were like, okay, we got a release date, and they're like, and we were wrong.
It just sucks when they build the hype like that. When you're like you said, I don't get mad about delays. We've talked about this
Yeah.
before. They're only
Delays
making the game better. They're not like,
Yeah.
oh man, this game's running perfect. We need to fuck this shit up. Let's take a couple months to add some microtransactions. And so it's,
It
they're
might
only
be-
making the game better.
Might be an
They're
EA
not-
thing, honestly.
That's it. Would be. Oh, this game's perfect.
Or Activision.
All right, we got 6 months. We pushed it back to add more surprise mechanics in it.
Surprise mechanics.
They don't call it microtransactions. Surprise mechanics. Surprise, you thought you were done paying for this game. And
Surprise
speaking of a
mechanics.
game we thought we were done paying for, let's talk about some Fallout 76. What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Remember when we bought our $200 beta pass to try out Fallout 76?
I mean, it was fun. We both enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
But they're destroying a little bit of that,
goodwill they've
the goodwill
garnered.
that we. I mean, it doesn't seem like goodwill with anybody else. They just
Yeah, that's true.
continue down a slippery slope as far as anyone else is concerned. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
they're, for those who are like, what are you guys talking about?
Fallout first.
Fallout first, which they didn't trademark or claim the website with that name, so some dude did. Fallout 7
Good
or
shout.
Fallout First or something.com, and then
Yeah.
he like took the actual like main site and just changed a bunch of words to say like, what was it, Fallout fuck you first or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was pretty dumb. So for $100, you get like a year like subscription to this, and it allows you to have like a leg up.
So it's $100 a year or like 12 a month, and you
You can
get
have
some
private
atoms
servers.
every month. But yeah, the big thing was private server. Is as long as you have this, like you can't cancel and keep your private server, you can get a private server. Which
I wasn't too bothered by anybody else in any of my games. I don't know about you.
I liked having. I mean, I like that, having just these random people out in the world doing things that, hey, I might run into a guy and team up with them, or,
Yeah, but generally they don't fuck with you as much as like
yeah, because
It was kinda when it-
is pretty dumb
when it
in
was
this
com-
game.
when it was coming out. You were like, kind of like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to be like constantly trolled on the whole time I'm playing this. But then when they like elaborated on it, we're like, oh, it's not so bad. Okay.
Yeah, almost non-existent the whole time I played.
Yeah, there's a couple people that were kind of dinks, but it wasn't like a few minutes maybe. So
But I think kind of what adds to the kicker of just them just not getting it, and they're like, okay, well, the game's been out for a year. Why not get a season pass? Apparently, you get a chest or a crate
with
or something,
an unlimited storage crate.
unlimited storage, and you can access it if you go to like somebody else's base and open it. It's like yours or something.
Huh.
And apparently, anything you put in it got deleted. So that was completely broken when they implemented it.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. For the first day or so, if you put stuff in it, it deleted it.
Good
So I was
times.
like, yes, I got unlimited storage. I can finally take like these 5 sets of power armor and I'll just throw them in there. Oh, it's all gone. Like, oh
all
man,
these screws I've been saving up. I got a lot of screws. I better put them here for safekeeping. 2,000 screws.
Like, come on, Bethesda.
It was funny thing is, I was actually thinking of just I had to clear room for Outer Worlds, and I just about got rid of 76 off mine because it takes up like 70, almost 76 gigs. I think it's like 73 right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of do want to pop in and check out what they've done to the place, but this kind of maybe I'll.
I mean, you don't have
time
to
I
get
a
the
game.
season pass. You can still access the free updates that they have added and play the game as is, which
Yeah, it seems like some pretty cool stuff. It was actually kind of starting to entice me until they did this shit. Shot themselves in the foot. I mean, yeah, the human NPC add-in thing that's pretty controversial with them has been pushed back to like next year too, apparently. I think that was supposed to be out like pretty soon.
I'm sure they said it was going to be like right around the corner or something.
Right around the corner, but we pushed it back to fuck you over.
But, should ultimately, I mean, there's a lot of people like, making their clickbait videos and freaking out about it, but like, why?
We got this.
Honestly, should we expect anything different? I mean, you got to remember this was the company that essentially made DLC or microtransactions.
Yeah.
I mean, there's expansions you could get before for like PC games, but that was like whole things. And then suddenly they're like, "Hey, do you want to buy an armored horse when you can already have a horse and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever? It's just a cosmetic thing."
Yeah.
Because they did the first like microtransaction for the armored horse in Oblivion on the 360 or the
they did.
The original Xbox.
No, 360.
I was okay.
Morrowind was the original Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
so
man.
I don't know. It's
first Bethesda game or what? Just kidding.
Right?
No, they were. That was one of my first ones. Was Oblivion. I got the Game of the Year edition not too long after I got my 360, which was good because the house I was renting at the time. This was right before we bought our house. They were doing a bunch of pretty extensive renos out of nowhere. So it was basically like I had to go in my side door and I could go into the kitchen, and then from the kitchen I could go just like down this like skinny hallway up to my bedroom. That was about it. They didn't let me go anywhere else in this house I was renting. At least they gave us like a steep reduction in the rent. But so I was basically confined to just my bedroom, and it was right after I got my 360, and I wouldn't have known any better if I didn't, I was playing Oblivion, and it was just crack. That's all I played.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah. Side story about how much I love Oblivion.
Should we keep talking about broken games?
What? Is that game broken? I don't know.
Which game?
What?
What game?
Broken games.
Broken
Well,
games.
it's not a Bethesda game, but it's possibly the most broken game of the year. WWE 2K20. I don't know if people know, but I'm a pretty big fan of wrestling games, even though I'm not particularly a huge fan of WWE in the last probably 10 years. But I still buy the game every year, even though I know less and less of the wrestlers every year. And I'm just kind of mad about it. Just play them, see what's new. I don't get nearly as into them as I used to, but 2K20 has kind of caught my attention for sort of the wrong reason. I don't really give a shit about anything in that game except for how hilariously broken it is. And it's like enticing me to almost buy it on that merit instead of waiting till the week after Christmas, where almost every year like clockwork, Walmart seems to put it on for like a quarter of the price. So I usually just wait till then.
Should wait.
I will.
It's funny.
It's enticing.
Yeah, it's funny.
I just want to update it when I get it.
Yeah, it's funny as a person who didn't buy the game, and I get to see these glitches. But if I spent $60 on this game and like was excited to play it, and it's just like all of a sudden in the middle of your match, it just like freaks out. Like that'd probably suck quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah, but Yeah. I don't know, but if you played any other games in the last few years,
Yeah.
they're broken in ways that they were intended. Where you're like, what the hell is this? I think we talked about it before, where I like made my exact self, and I think it was 2K17. I was so stoked. It took hours and hours, and every year they add more and more little sub things in your create a wrestler, especially in the moves. And it took me like no shortage of like over 4 hours of just trying to hurry up through the moves so I could play my guy. Started a career mode, and I was down to this random handful of basic moves, and I'm like, whoa, what happened here? I just spent several hours making my moveset, and then it was like in a training camp thing. I was like, oh, maybe it's just gonna make me use these moves in the training area, because you start off in what it's called an NXT, which is basically like their way of starting off wrestlers and kind of building them up. And then I played through that just thinking, oh yeah, I'll get my moves one of these days. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, you got to buy them with money you earn it. And I'm like, so I have to buy my move list that I just spent hours on. And that was about the time I was done with that game. It's just like, damn, I could have put that many hours into a game that was enjoyable.
Sure.
Ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bummer. But yeah, so I'm going to get it eventually, and I'm probably not going to update it so I can laugh at it a bit. But I'm going to get it when I can get it for like 25 Canadian.
Yeah.
30 Canadian, I haven't paid full price for one of those games since probably 2006. When it was still
you shouldn't.
When it was SmackDown versus Raw. Yeah, I've got every game in the entire series, but I'm not. I haven't been a big fan, honestly, since the PS2 games. Since they kind of gravitated away from the extensive backstage areas and stuff that they did, where it was more like a slightly more arcadey. But yeah, now that it's just more down to the realism and I don't know. They try to add new mechanics that are more annoying than fun, just to switch it up. So, blah. I'm done talking about wrestling. I wish they'd make an AEW game, because I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about this new AEW company. And a lot of my friends that are still really into wrestling are like, I haven't given a shit about WWE in about a year or two, except for NXT, but AEW is kicking its ass. So maybe I'll have to track some down and watch it.
Maybe.
But enough about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some video games.
Yeah. I guess we're going to get some other people's thoughts on some video game stuff with our community question.
Booyah.
Yeah, so last time I was just kind of asking what people thought about the Blizzard thing, what's going on with Activision Blizzard. And we didn't get much on it. Then again, I did forget to share the episode, apparently.
Did you?
I did.
I did.
I know you did.
I
was like, oh crap, I need to share the episode, and I forgot.
That's me if I don't do it within like... Usually when you get it up, it's around like 9 or 10. So I just try to do it like the next afternoon. So that's more people might see it.
Yeah.
But then I always end up forgetting the next afternoon. And I'm like, oh, 2 days ago, brand new episode was up.
Oops. Only mention we got from Linda, a.k.a. the Gamer Girl. And she says, Blizzard thing is crazy. True that.
Pretty crazy. And they're canceling more events and shit.
Yeah, they canceled another event. But, is what it is.
They're going to do damage control and...
Oh, they already are. Conveniently, there's rumors now that they're going to announce Diablo 4 and the Diablo
5.
2 remaster.
They're going to have to announce 4 and 5. All the ill will they're getting lately.
Yeah, so they're going to do Diablo 4 and the Diablo 2 remaster announcement. And Overwatch 2 is going to get announced at BlizzCon as well. Which, hey, I mean, as long as the games are cool, I guess, but I'm still going to, call them out on their bullshit. People are like, oh, see, I never said I was boycotting or anything, but people are like, oh, you if you, they say you can't like say bad things about the company and play their games if you like enjoy the games. It's like if I have a friend that does something really shitty, like I'm gonna call him out on that shit. I'll still be his friend, but I'm gonna call him out on some bullshit.
Yeah, just like, hey, you're an asshole. So anyway, you coming over Friday? You fucking asshole.
So we'll see. We'll see what I mean, there's a chance they can screw all this up, and it could all turn into fucking mobile.
You just said you're
Diablo 4.
You're losing faith in them, but you haven't completely jumped ship yet.
Exactly. So, yeah.
And I'm just gonna say what I always say: as long as those games are good.
Yeah.
So we talk shit about EA. We talk shit about Nintendo. We talk shit. We'll call anyone out on their shit.
Yeah.
Whether we're fans or not.
If it's justified.
We're not the blind fans. We'll call a spade, but doesn't mean we hate the thing. We're not like Star Wars fans, where Star Wars fans are like, they love Star Wars so much, but they actually hate Star Wars. We talked about that before too.
Yes.
No one hates something they love as much as Star Wars fans.
Right. Yeah, so I thought community question for next week, we can kind of just mention our answers here maybe, since we didn't talk about it much during the episode, but keeping thematic and whatnot, I was kind of curious to what horror games people played for this like spooky season, and even maybe shout out some movies, because usually you cram a few extra of those in.
Yeah, I watched a few that I hadn't watched in a while. I always buy a lot, but having kids means I can't.
Yeah.
Even on my day off, I can't watch horror movies all day, which kind of sucks. Gotta wait till they're slightly older, or else it'll be even harder to keep in bed. And it'll take even longer to start our podcasts.
See, you waited too long to desensitize them. Like me.
Oh no!
By the time
I've already been. They've already seen me dressed as zombies. They got zombies, death shit everywhere. Like my kids weren't even phased when they didn't see me for an hour and I came and my face was hanging off. They're just like, oh yeah, that's my dad. At like 1 year old, 2 years old. So there's that.
Okay.
But there's also like, I probably shouldn't have them seeing, a lot of the slasher movies got the sex scenes and shit. I'm more worried about the sex scenes than the bitch getting cut in half or put in a sleeping bag and slammed against a tree, or, I want to start them with the classics, but I want them to start them when I can be like, maybe after the talk.
Yeah.
What are they doing? She has a sore back.
Do you want to shout out any of the like horror movies you watched in recent?
Some pretty corny ones. Like I watched Basket Case a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
I've been watching back and forth between Tales from the Dark Side and some Tales from the Crypt, which is an always thing. I think I'm on the 3rd season now in Tales from the Crypt. And
I actually just was able to introduce my fiance to Tales from the Crypt. She'd never seen it before.
I'd only seen the movies, honestly.
Oh, really?
Until I couldn't find a way to watch the show. Like I downloaded some episodes, but they were pretty shitty quality back in the day. Like probably like right when torrenting was kind of.
I haven't seen it all. I've seen a chunk. There's like random times as a kid when I knew somebody that would have HBO or something, and be like, I'm gonna sleep over, and I'm actually sleeping over, not necessarily to hang out with you, but
I'm
so I can
awake overing.
So I can watch like Tales from the Crypt and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've seen a bunch of the movies and stuff like that.
2 movies.
I never.
Bordello of Blood.
No, I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them but I've seen them like a bunch. And then I seen, I know what Tales. To me, Tales from the Crypt. When someone said it was the series, I thought they were talking about like the cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
And then I found out later that it was more than just him introducing the movies. It was like, oh shit. Crypt Keeper's like I found out about the comics after the cartoon show, and yeah.
Man, I totally forgot about the cartoon.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Oh, that shit was awesome. I used to watch that, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Stuff like that was like a couple of my favorite.
It's super weird when like a new
Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, Erie, Indiana. That I used to love that show, and then they rebooted it and
They
crapped all
rebooted
over
that? I never knew about reboot.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's probably a good thing.
Hard pass.
I used to love that shit.
But yeah, so when I introduced my fiance to Tales from the Crypt, it was with a couple friends, and they hadn't seen it either. And it's like, and they're not like significantly younger than I am, but they're a few years younger, and it's like just past that like generational gap. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting because the Crypt Keeper, I mean, late 80s, early 90s, like he was like a pop icon essentially in commercials and on everything. Products and
exactly. Yeah, he was everywhere.
Yeah,
justifiable too.
Of course, the generational divide can make a big difference when it comes to pop culture and stuff. If you weren't of age when those things were popular, it's like, yeah, why would they know? But it's just interesting, and it's kind of dating myself a little bit.
I'm glad my kids are cool and they know about all the Arnold movies. We've watched almost all of them at this point.
I have to give props to my dad. Sat down with my brother-in-law and showed my brother-in-law Terminator 1 and 2 today, actually, because
really?
We talked about it the other day, and he's like, yeah, I've never seen Terminator. I was like, oh my God.
Oh man, I take that as a personal attack when I meet someone and they haven't seen something I expect. There's quite a few people.
You don't know this thing I love? What is wrong with you?
I'm still weirded out. Like, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm still weirded out when I find out about someone not seeing Star Wars before. Star Wars, Star Wars is just like a thing. Like everyone should just kind of see.
Yeah, I actually know some people that never seen Star Wars, and it just blows my mind. It's like, there's like most things I wouldn't, but Star Wars for some reason was just like such a huge thing. And I'm even talking like pre all the new stuff, like when there was no prequels and everything. Like it's just like everybody had seen it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
It bums me out, especially when someone started with the prequels, and I'm like, you still like it?
They're like, I love it. Yeah, it's.
You started with this prequel. I guess you didn't know better. It's all right as long as you still like the thing I like. It's pretty cool, even if you don't like what I like about the thing I like.
Yeah, I guess.
Speaking of Schwarzenegger, though, and Tales from the Crypt, he's actually even in an episode of that show.
Yeah, lots of celebrity cameos.
Yeah, there's a whole ton of them.
All the time.
But yeah, I like Tales from the Crypt a bit better, but Tales from the Dark Side is pretty classic. I think it took most of the first season kind of to find its own like niche and kind of get going, but it gets really good.
Nice.
I was surprised that my collection didn't come with the Tales from the Dark Side movie, but thankfully I've got that on VHS kicking around, so
cool.
It's fun stuff. Oh, what kind of stuff have you been watching?
I haven't done a ton of horror movies this year, but I did watch Brightburn.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
Brightburn. I enjoyed it. It's pretty neat. Different take. It's essentially like, what if during the adolescence of Superman he became evil? It's not Superman, but it's like a take.
Generally, pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close, and it was, it was pretty interesting.
When he drops the truck, oh man, that guy's face. That was my favorite part.
That pretty crazy. It gets pretty violent. There's some,
in all the right ways.
But
I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, I think I kind of wanted something more from it, and I'm not sure what that is. But overall, I enjoyed it. One of my favorite things was actually like during the credits when they were showing images of him doing evil Superman things and being caught on the news, and they didn't like he wasn't outright like they still hadn't even like identified him necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like of things to come.
Oh, because he could move fast enough that sometimes they're like, "What the hell's even going on?"
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm gonna have to watch it again, but my initial thoughts on it were pretty good. I liked it a lot.
yeah.
I was really expecting to be like, "This is lame," but I didn't get to see it in theater.
I was
just
pretty
bought
hopeful
when
for it. I liked
when it came on
the
Blu-ray.
actors that they had, and James, it was James Gunn, so I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, anything with a horror element, I don't go in with a very high expectation because a lot of the time horror stuff these days is just shitty to me, honestly.
And it's for me, it's like games. Like I can watch a trailer and I would say like 90, if not like 99% of the time, I can call it. If
Like
I'm
you're
not,
going to enjoy it or it's not for you.
I've seen enough in my lifetime, but yeah, so I'd say if it sounds interesting, check it out. Just,
Yeah. I also watched 3 from Hell.
Yeah.
Kind of meh.
That's
Started
what-
off pretty cool.
That's what I've been hearing. Because I couldn't watch 3 from Hell, I watched 31, which was Rob Zombie's last movie that I hadn't seen yet.
I liked the very beginning of it, but then it was just kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a... He goes more and more downhill, I think, as like his movies come out. I'd say this one was... 3 from Hell was better than 31. The general idea of 31 could have been cool, but I don't know, just the execution of it.
Yeah,
Like, that guy, like the way they introduced that guy, what's his name? The guy they call... what's his name?
Doomhead.
Yeah, Doomhead. Like, he was probably the coolest part at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is going to be kind of cool. But then when they, like, I don't know, they call on him again, and he just kind of is, like, up his own ass. So
I
he
mean,
fucks up, kind of.
I would imagine for people possibly a bit younger than us who haven't maybe even general audiences who haven't seen the amount of like horror movies or like kind of like exploitation flicks or like hack and slash movies might enjoy these a lot more. But it's like, I mean, it's
very...
they're made well and everything, but it's just...
Yeah, well, I didn't...
It's like I've seen it before, and
Lords of Salem, I was bored to tears of.
Lords of Salem. So I personally, I do enjoy like art house films, but I just wasn't too hot on Lords of Salem. It just got... I don't know. Like, I know what he's trying to do. Like, he's trying to do almost like what Tarantino does. Is like Tarantino is like, I'm gonna do a style and a genre, and he kills it every time. And Rob Zombie's trying to do... I mean, he's always kind of had the like Rob Zombie style, but it's almost like me and Clive Barker. Like, I like Clive Barker movies, but like I could criticize a lot. Like, there's always every Clive Barker movie, I'm like, cool concept, not really executed well in many regards. I don't know.
Okay. It's my favorite's still Hellraiser. I love the first couple of Hellraiser movies, but that's a series that fell off hard.
Yeah.
Hard. Yeah. It's a bit of a bummer because out of the horror movie, every one of them, if it's the first one's decent, gets like 8 sequels, right? Mm-hmm. I'd say the first few are like my favorite out of all those, but overall the series is the weakest, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Like I like the first couple of Hellraisers more than I like the Friday the 13th, even more than I like Nightmare on Elm Street's, Halloween's. I know Nightmare on Elm Street's probably the closest. I think it's probably my next favorite, but just the concept of Hellraiser I really like. But they fuck it up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But as far as longevity, I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street, then Friday the 13th, then Halloween.
Yeah.
But anything else you've checked out?
That's
I watch a couple of staples like Dead Alive and stuff like that. But I watch that so often I can't even call that a seasonal thing. Sometimes I just gotta kick ass for the Lord. that's my favorite. That's my favorite line out of that whole movie.
sure.
Oh, that's my mother you're pissing on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie. Yeah. Is there any general favorites that you might not have even watched that you want to shout out?
Nah, nothing worth that I haven't talked about in previous episodes, Halloween episodes. So
Alrighty. Yeah. So I haven't seen anything that was like a new favorite, but then again, I'm always just kind of watching. I bought a couple collections that Walmart's offerings this year were pretty lackluster as far as what they've had the last few years. Because last year's when I got Tales from the Dark Side, the complete series, and a couple other cool, those like 4-packs where they got like cool movies in them, shit like that.
Yeah.
I bought Phantasm, the 5 Phantasm movie collection, and Ghoulies, I think, the last little while.
cool.
But yeah, I've yet to. Those are kind of a thing I always try to marathon them. So unless I've got time to watch a couple of them at least in a row, I haven't cracked into them yet. But
Yeah.
as far as that goes, I think that's about it.
Cool. So let's check out some upcoming games in the next couple weeks, and none of them matter except one, and that's Death Stranding.
Well, yeah.
November 8th. I'm pretty hyped. That's all I gotta say about it. I will definitely be sharing my thoughts on it when it comes out.
Will you? Somehow I doubt that.
Yeah, right. Looks like we got Luigi's Mansion 3, which I've been hearing. That's a series I've never played.
They're fun.
That's what I hear.
I'm excited. I'll probably be picking it up at some point close to launch.
Yeah, I need to play it at some point.
The first party releases I don't really jump on immediately. It's not like I'm waiting for the price to go down, because first party Nintendo game prices very, very rarely go down. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. It's one of my favorite of their kind of spin-off series, I would say.
Yeah.
They get better and better, and I've heard that this is the best of the 3 that are out so far. So
Cool. Another game I've been hearing some people talking about is the new Atelier Ryza, After Darkness and the Secret Hideout. Not really a series I play.
I've got a couple of them, but I haven't delved into them really yet. So
A lot of crafting in them, and I'm not a fan of crafting.
yeah, there's a lot of alchemy and stuff like that in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's one game I wanted. Hopefully, I probably should have started it before the Outer Worlds, since I got it earlier in the day before I got Outer Worlds, because Walmart lied to me when I called and asked if they had it. Because when I say Outer Worlds, they mean, oh yeah, you mean Modern Warfare? Yeah, we have that.
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of that, and that's medieval.
Yeah.
I was really stoked on that, because as far as I remember, I think I've only played the second one, and I've always wanted to play the first one. I just never got around to it, so I grabbed that immediately to go through it. So
Yeah, I'll pick that up eventually. I had it on pre-order, but I had to trim some things back.
well, you getting that Pro?
Yeah. Trying to justify being able to buy a PS4 Pro.
Well, when you sell the extra copy of Death Stranding, maybe you can use it to get medieval.
Maybe. We got the Red Dead Redemption 2 release for the PC, which... Oh, wait. Right?
Yeah, I think it's really soon. I'm seeing a lot of ads for it. I'm just not paying attention. 'Cause
Yeah.
I already beat it, but
Yeah, that's pretty
sure
great, though. My brother, I think, is looking forward to that.
sweet. I mean, I'm sure the mods are going to be amazing.
Yeah. Can't wait to see those.
And pretty close to, well, I guess, yeah, we'll be talking about the next one. I don't want to get, that's farther than 2 weeks from today called out. But
otherwise, we talk
there's another game I'm pretty stoked on. Comes out a week after Death Stranding.
Huh?
And it pertains to something we were talking about. Stay tuned, or just look at a calendar of game releases.
Yeah.
There's not a huge amount of things that seem to be coming out in the next few weeks, but
which is great because it gives me a chance to play the games that I have.
Hell yeah. I finally got to pre-order one that I've been waiting for. I was starting to think it wasn't getting a physical release until I checked again the other day, and it's actually up finally. So I pre-ordered it, and I don't know how to feel about that. Because it's a franchise I'm hugely into, but it's by a developer that doesn't have the best track record. So.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Terminator Resistance.
Oh.
It's the same people who made the Rambo game, which I ordered. I was kind of hoping to play around the time that Last Blood was in theaters, but it got lost, and then they just ended up refunding me, and I got lucky enough-ish, because I'm still buying the game, and I didn't take it as an omen that maybe I shouldn't have bought that game. I reordered it, and I actually found it for cheaper than I originally got it, and I already thought I got a deal on it, so good to go. It should be getting delivered. I think it's delivered today. Score, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not expecting it to be amazing. I've seen the videos, but I'm like, I think this is a game that I just need to play. And I've seen images that say that I can use the PlayStation Move with it. And if I can do that, I'm pretty sure I can derive some enjoyment out of it. If I can get the rifle with the Move controller in it.
Yeah.
Might be in for some pretty good times.
Right on.
I'm really hoping that there's a good Stallone impersonator, and by good I mean awful. Hopefully not as awful as like the Arnold impersonator from Mortal Kombat 11, but one can only hope.
Yeah. So is that potentially a game you will be playing in the next couple weeks?
Rambo or Terminator?
Yes.
Well, Rambo, for sure. When I pick it up, I'll be dusted off the PS3 to check it out, because I don't know. It feels like it's the biggest fight I've had to go through. It was lost, but I couldn't. If it's before the delivery estimated date, you can't really say anything about it. Like, I can't be like, hey, it says 3 weeks ago it left Minneapolis, and I live 5 hours from Minneapolis. And even if the delivery guy was walking with it, it would have been here by now. But I had to wait till then. And even after, like, when it's late, you have to wait a couple more days before you can be like, pretty sure it's lost, bro. And yeah, so I dealt with it. They refunded me, and I just ordered it again. And it's actually here this time. So I'll probably go pick it up tomorrow. So that's probably when I'll play after, I don't know, depending on how long it takes me to get through the Outer Worlds.
Mostly focusing on that, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Mostly on that, and if I can get the Man of Badan party together next week, it'll probably be another one I'll be kicking.
Nice.
Maybe we can finish our playthrough of Dead Space.
Perhaps.
Extraction. While I'm down, I don't know. We'll see if we can make that work. But besides that, I'm not planning on a whole lot, except for maybe some arcade games with the kids, because they actually asked me today if we could do some more of that. And I'm always down. So, might be some rando arcade games there too. Either that, or I just hook it up from them and play Outer Worlds.
There you go.
Either or. It's all video games.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, what are you gonna be playing coming up?
Well,
besides Death Stranding.
Definitely Man of Medan.
Yeah. You think you'll do a couple playthroughs, or?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out and how I feel about everything. I did have something else planned. Another like short, because it's pretty much gonna be short games until Death Stranding. But I forget what it was. I've been meaning to jump back into some VR.
Yeah, me too. Especially since I got that aim controller bundle with Firewall.
Yeah, and I just got Accounting Plus. So that's
you've had Accounting Plus for quite a while.
I got the physical for it.
Yeah, but you've had access to be able to play it for that. But hopefully you do play it.
Yeah.
It means you don't even have to open it. You can just be like, look at that pretty game. And you can piss off Captain Algebra at the same time. Because he says games are meant to be played.
Oh, sure.
Because every time he gets a sealed game, he immediately opens it.
I'll wait until I play it. Yeah, so that's about it, I guess. So I guess I will let anybody listening know how to get a hold of us if they would like to get a hold of us and they don't know how to get a hold of us. So, of course, the Game Tenants Podcast is available on SoundCloud and with that, podcast apps. I don't know the situation with iTunes anymore because it was like auto uploading to iTunes and like iTunes is being phased out or something. So
weird.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's also on YouTube.
Sure.
If you want to check it out on YouTube, just look up the Game Tenants Podcast and you will find it.
Chances are that's probably what you're listening to right now.
Yeah, maybe.
But back episodes are also on YouTube.
Yes.
Most
of them, not all of them.
If you don't have a lot of horror movies or you're pretty squeamish with the horror movies, you could just listen to all 4 of the Game Tenants Halloween specials.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh. Shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, for sure. Then if you want to get a hold of me, you can look me up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Look up The Game Grinder, and you will find me. And if you want to get a hold of Jason, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, Corpse Flood Gaming.
Why would you do something silly like that, though?
I think everybody should do that. If you haven't done that yet, you should do that as soon as this podcast is over.
All right. I welcome all new friends.
Yeah.
Or returning friends.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from them in a while.
So, yeah, definitely, hit us up. Leave comments on the YouTube upload for our community question, or just share your thoughts on anything we talked about. Just let us know. Say some words.
Let us know you were here.
Yes.
And thanks for being here.
Absolutely. So I guess with that said, that will do it for this episode of the Game Tenants Podcast. Happy 4 years. Here's to the next 4.
Cheers to more years.
Yes.
And
we'll
some
talk
beers.
to you next time.
Hi. But in reverse.
Bye.
Aye.